This is going to be awkward and interesting, I hope. I've been sent some questions by the company that's called V Collective, and V Collective is the company that does the collaboration with me with Zara. And they sent over some questions to get more insights in the concept and how the collection was brought to life. So they sent over these questions. And I thought it would be a good idea to have it filmed so I can answer these questions as spontaneous as possible. Because if I get behind the desk and type in the answers, then I think it would not be able to give answers as frankly as possible. So anyways, first question, regarding this collection, is there a specific theme? Well, there is not a theme as in the form of a word or words, but it's the theme about this collection is the way that I create mainly all of my work. I want to try and get more in the moment and create something within that specific time frame. So no pre-thinking, no tryouts, no sketching, just getting in the moment, creating it in a moment that is presented in this collection. And you could say the theme of the collection is momentalism, or the moment as a lost art, or being in a moment. Where did the inspiration came from, and what is the message you want to express? For example, Carpe Dream. It's a lot to answer, I think. Well, the thing that I get my most inspiration from are two things. It's people, and it's ancient cave paintings or ancient primitive art, such as Nazca lines, hieroglyphs, those two things are related to each other because in ancient times, in prehistoric times, the artists back then, they tried to understand or gain control over a certain kind of object, or in their case, a lot of them were, when they were hunting, they were animals. And they drew these animals just to understand these animals, and they thought, well, if we can draw them, then we can control them, or that we understand them more, so we can benefit from it. And for me, it's the same. I think when I'm drawing people, I think I can understand people much better when I'm drawing. Gives me this opportunity to think about what it is like to be a human being, or being a good human being, and what it is like to be part of a society. And that's what I tend to do, and that's what inspires me. So I think those two together is my biggest inspiration source, I think. And with these texts, well, when I'm doing my portraits, then sometimes it happens that a title of a work pops up. Well, in this case, it was Carpe Dream. And I immediately fell in love with that specific saying, because I think nowadays it's so much important to be awake, to be conscious, to be on top of things. And I think that if you allow yourself to dream more, and it's not only the dream while you're sleeping, but also the daydreaming, because the beauty of a dream is that you can't control your dreams. You should always listen to it, because that's something so pure. It isn't something that is from the outside, it's from the inside. So I think we should allow ourselves more to get inspired by those daydreaming or by those dreams that we have. We have this categorized as unreachable, or just something that's not realistic. But I think it is realistic. It's there to inspire you, to inspire your realism or your days or something like that. So that's why I liked the Carpe Dream text, and I was very delighted that the Zara design team picked it as one of the designs that would be available in the collection, because I think it's nice to have this message out in the world to people, because we could use it a little bit more, I think. Carpe Dream. How long did it take to create for this collection, and could you tell us more about your creative process for this project? Well, the complete collection is existing out of two parts. One part is a portrait that I already created and were selected by the Zara design department. And the beauty of it is that they picked two of my light paintings. And what I like about it is that for me, a light painting is the essence of being in the moment. That's maybe a little bit technical, but a light painting is that the camera is opened, so it has a long exposure. And when you're in a dark environment, it allows you to take a while for the picture to get finished. And in that time, you can have that like 30 seconds. For me, it's mainly 30 seconds. And if you have a light source and you start drawing, then the camera picks up that light trail, and then it shows in the final picture. You don't see what's been drawing. I can't see what's been drawing. I have a hint of what's been drawn, but I can't really see it. That's what I like. So that for me is the essence of being in the moment, is a light painting. And I was very pleased when they picked two of my light paintings for their collection. the other part of the collection was, well, somehow the collection was very abstract, and I wanted to do some abstract portraits, even more abstract portraits as well. So to get myself more in that vibe by doing these sessions, I think it was 4 times 30 minutes drawing sessions, and just constantly drawing and drawing, trying to get some sort of numb and trying to force myself to get more into that abstract approach of how I create stuff in the moment. And what I liked was that I finally think there were 4 portraits that I had sent over to Zara for a selection, and I didn't tell them up front what portrait was my favorite, and they picked the exact same portrait. And I think that's beautiful when that happens, if a work resonates with people as well. We are on the same frequency somehow. And the drawing itself, why I picked that one, is that for me, the negative space, and the negative space is the space between 2 shapes or within 2 lines. And somehow that space is important, because if you have this space, then you can see that it's balanced out. And that's what you're looking for, I think. And doing that in the moment was something new for me, but really showed me that it also is possible to do it like this, and was very happy with the result. Have you ever collaborated with other fashion brands before, and do you find any difference between your personal work and your commercial work, and how are they different? Yes, I did collaborations before, but I think there's so much to say. It took a while to get into the collaboration era. I'm very happy that I finally did, because when you know what you create and why you create it, it's so nice to be on the other side of the table, having a brand that is also looking for something that resonates with their belief. So then it really happens to make it a collaboration that really sticks and that really is meaningful. And for instance, for me, being able to tell my story about creating in the moment and being in the moment, and being able to share it on a brand like Zara, is something that I'm very grateful for, and really think that it was something that helps me to bring out that message. I believe that art is the purest form of communication, because it never forces people to believe it is the truth. It only resonates with people when they allow it to get into their minds. But if you like it and it resonates with you, but it wants to communicate with you, so then you're really touching someone's thoughts, and that's what I really love about creating art. And to get back on the subject, I find it so amazing that I was allowed to create this. And I see it, every collaboration, I see it as a new canvas and a new possibility to reach a different kind of an audience. Well, in my case, I want to share with people that we should all appreciate the now more, and we should appreciate the moment more, and not just by saying, okay, you should live every day as if it's your last day, because I think that's very demanding thing to have on your daily to-do list. I think it's more that you're aware of the fact that these moments happen and they are around you, but you need to open up to those. What type of brands would you really love to try or think would be fun to collaborate with? I don't have this wish list of brands that I want to work with, and it's the simple fact is that because I think the way I create my portraits is that I do it in the moment. If I would know upfront what I'm going to do for a collaboration, or what brands I would love to collaborate with, then I think I would like it to be as fresh as possible, so that the first meeting that you will have, then the ideas will come, and then I go into the studio and I'm going to execute those ideas, or just try to hold them in like a breath, and then when going into the studio, then they come out. And yeah, for me that's the thing, to have it as fresh as possible. We can tell that you are very passionate about VR paintings recently, and how is it different from light painting in terms of the outcome and the experience? How did it help your creative process, and what new creative inspirations have you generated through VR painting? Okay, that's a long one. Well, I think that what I like about the light paintings is that you can't touch it. And that's the same goes for VR painting. You can't touch it. It's virtual. And somehow that it's not being able, that you can't touch it, you can also not feel when you draw it. You have this feedback when you draw on paper, and when doing it with light, you don't have this feedback. So somehow it makes you feel like if you're like dancing out an idea or something. It is your motion that you do that what's create the drawing, and And that's the same with VR. You don't have this forced feedback that you can feel when you paint or you draw. So that really inspired me to make these hand-drawn sculptures. And that when I understood how that I was doing these kind of things, then it really blew my mind, because VR makes it possible to create hand-drawn sculptures. Let that sink in. And it is beautiful to see that it's possible, and that the techniques of 3D printing, they're getting better and better and better. So I'm really looking forward what the future might bring, and how that will help me to create these monuments made in the moment. That is something that I can't wait. So I'm really getting excited about the VR techniques. And it doesn't mean that I am going all in on VR. I always need my other materials or other approaches of creating these portraits as well.